For a couple of weeks now, we've seen some good news in the form of a significant descent in the number of daily cases, weekly cases. We're now at an average of one new case per day. Also, geographically speaking, most hotspots have been contained except for two. That's Montserrado, which includes Monrovia, the epicenter of the epidemic, and one other county near Sierra Leone. So in that sense, we have a lot of good news. On the other hand, getting to zero cases is still going to involve a large response.
So even though the situation is improving in Liberia, this experimental vaccine that's on its way is still going to be welcomed?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, both vaccine and all treatment options such as ZMapp are definitely welcome. It's not just a question of the current epidemic, but also the fact that Ebola typically becomes endemic, as it has in Congo and Uganda, for example. So the three West African countries affected may have new outbreaks even in the future. For the current epidemic, it will depend how the trial goes once it starts and how quickly mass production could be done.
It must be hard, though, to tell if things are improving, whether or not the vaccination is going to work or not.
So far, the results are very promising in the testing so far in phases 1 and 2. But obviously now, when you reach a mass trial with tens of thousands of people, one can never know how that will go. Our main concern is definitely around how the vaccine testing will be conducted in Liberia, given the trauma that people have gone through during this epidemic for the last year or so, that it needs to be done with a high level of sensitivity.
Tariq, depending on who you talk to, people say it's still touch and go regarding the outbreak of Ebola. What do you think? Can you see the end in sight?
Definitely in Liberia, like I said, at one case per day, we are in what one would call the end game. Again, it's also in two counties at this point where the outbreak is still occurring. In both those counties, there's a big response effort underway, hundreds and thousands of people on the ground working on the remaining cases. So I would say that there is reason for optimism. However, that people need to understand that there will still be a number of weeks of this, even if we're down to one case, that reaching zero cases is going to require an enormous effort right up to the very end. Obviously, even now with Ebola, it's unclear that if we do find treatment options and vaccination options, will they be affordable? Who will finance the procurement and the distribution of these treatments and vaccines?